Henrik Larsson left Celtic in the summer of 2004. The ultimate fan favourite for the past 7 years left behind a legacy that was too big for any one man to fill, but Celtic needed to do something to fill the void. And at the time, it looked like they were going to do something big. Rivaldo was 32 years old at this point and had just been a major part of Brazil's World Cup winning team 2 years previously. He left Barcelona after that tournament and had a rough short spell at AC Milan before returning back home to Brazil. But the attacker felt he had unfinished business in Europe, and though gaining in years, was still viewed as one of the top talents in world football if he could recapture some form. In May 2004, Sky Sports revealed Rivaldo was on the verge of joining Celtic. The story dominated headlines in Scotland throughout the summer and would have been the biggest box office signing in the history of Scottish football. Rivaldo had quit Brazilian domestic football in February and was now a free agent. He had offers from numerous clubs in Europe, including his agent holding preliminary talks with Alex Ferguson regarding a move to Manchester United. Under Sam Allardyce, Bolton had made a number of high-profile signings at the time, including the likes of Fernando Hierro and Ivan Campo, and they were also interested in bringing the Brazilian to the UK. However, it looked like Celtic had beaten them all to the signing of the 1999 Ballon d'Or winner, except the deal was never completed. Just how close was it to really happening? Then Celtic manager Martin O'Neill stated in 2020, Rivaldo was very interested in coming to Celtic, but in truth it never really got that close. But was this the fault of O'Neill himself? A long-lasting rumour is that O'Neill had offered Rivaldo a trial to join Celtic, a suggestion which is said to have infuriated his representatives so much that they immediately pulled the plug on any move to Glasgow. Maybe Rivaldo was never truly interested in a move to the SPL and was just using Celtic's interest to leverage a move elsewhere. Though this sounds likely now, at the time both Celtic and Rangers were spending big money on wages and able to compete with all but the top 4 Premier League sides in England financially. Just 1 year prior, when they reached the UEFA Cup final, Celtic had the 6th highest wage bill in the UK, so it was a completely different football landscape to what we have now. A Rivaldo standard Brazilian international player today, like Bobby Firmino, is more likely to end up playing for 500 grand a week in Saudi Arabia than he is playing against the likes of Kilmarnock and Aberdeen. But signing Rivaldo in 2004 was by no means an unrealistic possibility for Celtic. Rivaldo himself certainly sounded interested in playing for the Hoops, stating in May 2004 that Glasgow is a temple of football. It would be very nice to play there. Scotland is a paradise for forwards, and to play for Celtic would be sensational for a Brazilian. Well, Celtic would go on to sign an experienced Brazilian international that summer, but it wouldn't be Rivaldo. Instead, Martin O'Neill signed Juninho, who had also been part of the 2002 World Cup winning squad and had experience in British football following impressive and memorable spells at Middlesbrough. Despite a great debut performance and a 1-0 win over Rangers, Juninho was ultimately a flop for Celtic, who failed to capture the hearts and minds of the fans. Where did Rivaldo end up then, and how did he do? In July 2004, he signed for Greek side Olympiakos, where over a 3-year spell, he went on to make 95 appearances, scoring 43 goals and winning 3 league titles as well as 2 Greek Cups. He put in some strong performances for them in the Champions League, scored at Anfield against Liverpool, and left the club as a firm fan favourite. He certainly showed he had plenty left in the tank, and that offering him a trial at that point was indeed a pretty insulting thing to do. When you compare Rivaldo's time in Greece to Juninho's time in Scotland, it's obvious Celtic made the wrong choice. In later years, Rivaldo would say his one career regret was not playing in the UK. He mentioned the opportunity to play for Celtic, but he also named Man United, Liverpool, Spurs and Bolton as options. So in reality, his heart may not have been longing for the footballing paradise of Glasgow after all. But after losing the beloved Henrik Larsson, replacing him with Rivaldo would have been an amazing tonic to cheer up the Celtic fans, and it'll remain as one of the biggest what-ifs in the club's history.